Let's move on now to the Los Angeles Rams and our free agency review series. But before we do that, this is the last series when it comes to the free agency portion of the 2023 offseason before we pivot to our prediction of the 2023 season. That includes division winners, game predictions, a lot more Los Angeles Rams content coming your way. And if you want to see those content very easy and efficiently, be sure to subscribe to the channel and also ring that bell to get notified when new Rams content is released. Ryan, that being said, let's get into it. So the Rams did not have too much going on when it came to the cap space and free agency additions. I think a lot of that was also kind of due knowing that they had a lot of draft picks as well. Mm-hmm. And that's how they were going to address the team because they're going through a rebuild. Now, also, they won the Super Bowl in the 2021-2022 season, but last year did not have the same luck and a lot of injuries. And so Matt Stafford is still the quarterback that is there, but the one major free agency transaction, I should say, because it was more of a departure, but moving on from Jalen Ramsey, trading him to the Los Angeles Rams, getting a third-round pick and tight end Hunter Long as well for that. That's the biggest addition. Everything else was just re-signing of some people here. But their draft, I actually think, for not having a first-round pick, actually had a decently good draft.
Well, so that's, I think, one of the common trends. I think if you didn't have a top 10 pick, you really wanted to be in that, 70 to 125 range. And I think they had, 6 picks in that range.
Yeah.
So they, I think, got a lot of really good value. Let's go ahead and get into their depth chart here. Starting off on the offensive side, wide receiver outside of Cooper Kupp is actually pretty barren.
Mm-hmm.
Van Jefferson, I think, is going to be 27 or 28. I know he was one of the older guys in his draft class. Ben Skowronek.
Don't ask me.
Yeah. He is good, not great. Puka Nacua is a rookie that I think has a pretty good chance to make the roster. Tutu Atwell was a second-round pick a couple years ago that had some bright moments this year. So outside of Cooper Kupp, they don't really have anybody else that's going to be a true lethal pass catcher. Offensive line-wise, they did a nice job, I think, getting Steve Avila to come in. And then I actually really liked Warren McClendon from Georgia. He played left tackle or right tackle in college, and he could probably do it at the NFL as well. So I think those are two solid pieces there.
Well, and also, too, just to add on to that, it can't really get too much worse than what it was last year for them. So it's I think him and Rob Havenstein, I think any of these positions are up for competition. Yeah. So, because that's probably just one, especially going through this rebuild now. Matt Stafford is not. He falls in the category of your older traditional quarterbacks, not in the now modern day quarterback where you have to be able to be. He's Aaron Rodgers mobile, so to say. He's not going to burn you. Aaron Rodgers might even be a little bit more mobile now. But Matt Stafford definitely leans toward being more of a pocket passer. And in today's modern NFL, you have these defensive ends who are 270 pounds and can run like a 4.4, 4.5. They're just absolutely ridiculous. And so they're faster than Matt Stafford, which normally is not the case. Yeah. So having a weak offensive line in front of a quarterback like that does not fit the general successful mold within the NFL, especially too when they don't have the overall elite receiving weapons like how they did when they won the Super Bowl.
No, yeah, exactly. And so they do have a pretty solid tight end room. Tyler Higbee, Hunter Long, Bryson Hopkins, I think is a pretty solid trio. And then they also did get Davis Allen from Clemson, and then I can't really see the last guy's name. But I think offensively they will be serviceable. I just don't expect them to bounce back to be what they were in 2021.
Well, I will say this. The guy, to me, that actually really sticks out that I'm very curious to see how he does is actually going to be Zach Evans, the running back that they drafted in the 6th round. Cam Akers, unfortunately, which it sucks too after his Achilles injury, he just has not bounced back to be the guy. And I feel bad for him. Nothing against the guy. And so Kyron Williams also, he was a 5th-round pick last year. Maybe he can progress to be a number one guy that they can build around in the backfield. But Zach Evans, I think, has a lot of potential to become that number one guy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of opportunity here for him. And on a rebuilding team like this, and where you're trying to make a name for yourself, there's some opportunity here. And so I have to see how he fares behind this offensive, how everyone fares behind this offensive line. But that's going to be, I think, the core of where Sean McVay and them want to build around.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move on now to the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, Aaron Donald is going to play a big role in this defense. They did draft Byron Young and Kobe Turner in the 3rd round that are going to help on that pass rush on that defensive line. But outside of those guys, not a whole lot of names. And I think this was kind of the problem last year as well. When you saw this team have a lot of success, right? They had Aaron Donald plus another guy, right? And Ndamukong Suh, when they went to the Super Bowl in 2018, I believe, and then Von Miller and Leonard Floyd as well in 2021. So that to me has been the recipe for success with them. You let Aaron Donald get pressure up the middle, and then he either gets double teamed or he gets a sack or pressure, or you have somebody coming around on the edge to clean up. So that to me, I think they're trying to recreate that with some young guys. And then this secondary is not good.
A lot of
6th, 7th
22s. Yeah. So it's that's a good point actually with it. So this to me kind of then reminds me a little bit of like the Cardinals and like their overall goals and kind of start to transition that way. But you just look at this team, it's like it's a rebuilding year. Goal for the Rams this year, they'll probably win a couple more games than the Cardinals because they have a little more of a competent offense. But I think the goal for this year is going to be who are going to be our like key starters next year that we can go and build around. And I'm not talking even about Aaron Donald. I obviously understand that, but he is also getting up there in age. So you kind of want to find his successor or the next team captain on the defense behind him. Because right now, as you talked about, a lot of 6th, 7th round picks who are going to be guys that are going to take that step forward, can be your consistent day one starters. And if you can figure that out and know that, and that I think is the entire Rams goal for 2023. It is essentially just going to be one big giant training camp. It seems like for all these starters. Is Puka Nacua going to be your number 2 receiver behind Cooper Kupp? Or do you think he doesn't have the stuff and you're going to have to draft another receiver early on? Marvin Harrison Jr. Even if Puka Nacua is really good, you should still draft Marvin Harrison Jr. if he's there for your first pick. So
you play 3 wide receivers at a time. So
absolutely, I think I think Matt Stafford would love that. I think Matt Stafford could stick around a little bit longer in the NFL if they get Marvin Harrison Jr.
and that for me, I think you just look at where this team is. They're very much in a rebuilding state, just like a lot of the other teams are. As much as the LA fans want them to be that Super Bowl contending team that they were a few years ago, they put all their chips on the table, right? And they hit on the river, right? Like they
hit the jackpot.
Exactly.
Matt Stafford got his Super Bowl ring. He now has all the commercials joking about how he'll never forget his Detroit Lions fan base that were always around him. Get to see him on all the Little Caesars commercials as well. So it is like, like they got exactly what they wanted for it. But this is what's great though. Well, this is what's great about the salary cap though, and the rules that the NFL has in place is it allows for this. You can't just be like the MLB or the Yankees where you're just going to go pay the top players these top contracts. It can make it kind of lopsided. You're going to see the same teams in the playoffs every single year, similar to like Premier League soccer as well. It's just like that. If everyone is playing with the same amount of money and the same amount of chips, now you're going to have a lot of cyclicalness of this. Of some of these teams are going to get hot, and then they're going to go all in, and then they get it or they lose, and then they have to restart over. So look at the Falcons, for example. I mean, I'll use myself as an example.
Yeah, and then you see the rare teams that get the great quarterbacks, right? You have the Colts, the Patriots, now the Chiefs. Like those teams can sustain it for long periods of time because they have those quarterbacks. But that's a totally separate conversation. I think that's going to wrap up this episode of the Tracy Take. If you have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on what your favorite Los Angeles Rams addition was this offseason. Was it a draftee? Was it a free agent? Let us know down below. And other than that, we'll see you guys next time.